Hey, everybody. Good to see you. And thank you for coming in and pressing play. Yeah, I actually wrote down three things I wanted to share with you guys because I tend to ramble. And where I am in my recovery, it's not going to lie, intense. Yet, I have done personal growth work for eons, back to 2005, 2006, look up in 20 years. And so I'm fighting kind of the shame voices around you still doing this and just do this that I hear from people. Just do this. That's not right. That's not where I am right now. I'm not hurting. The suffering comes in the releasing and the surrendering, and then also the forgiving. So it's probably more, emotional and fact, of course, impact the body. So I made a lot of progress, as you guys know, and had some setbacks. And so instead of going into a story about it like I am right now, let me just tell you what my lessons were. Okay. Did you hear that? So my coach has, when I started step four, which is taking a moral inventory. And first stop is resentment. And so she actually asked me, do you how resentment basically in your life? I told her, I'm like, I'm good. And I understand situation, players, blah blah blah. And I'm good. And she just, smiled. And she goes, how would you define resentment? And I don't even recall what my response was. She goes, think of it. So actually, I still have it here. And when I read this description, I'm like, oh, so resentment. Here it is, guys. Um, Bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. So when I first read that, I felt something like resentment is a feeling of angry displeasure or bitterness towards someone or something perceived as a wrong or insult. It's a complex emotion often described as a mixture of disappointment, disgust, and anger. And one of the things that have been identified is that I have suppressed anger. I don't show anger. So why do you think I have a gazillion diseases within my body? Body kept score. Disease 95, my health 5. I played the game wrong. I had the instructions. I knew what was right, but I had unexamined experiences that I couldn't explain until later in life. And so I'm not apologizing. Hell no. In fact, I told my young daughters, I said, I'm not afraid of my truth. I'm not, I mean, I celebrate this and I want to show them, it's breaking this looking good club shit. And I'm doing it for those who can't look at their mess. The ones that have wore the facades for so long. They truly believe that they are that. I still have that. So it takes time. And then what I struggle with at times is looking at others that I hold in high esteem. I'm taking that down. That's the problem. Is holding people in high esteem. I respect them, sure. But my kryptonite is comparison. Because, in the corporate game, it was all about performance, ranking. Do you have value for you to stick around? And so, as a pleaser, I didn't fit in, with your normal type of aggressive type of a manager. So, but in hindsight now, as I am continuing to get in the mess of it all and just own, I did the best that I could. I really did. I just was trying to survive, you know? Was I fake? Well, yeah. Was I real in many places? Double fuck yes. So can I be both of those at the same time? Was the lesson, or at least the idea of what love is, you know? So Kim asked me, we were talking about love, and I started just, talking about my idea of, the offended person who's been offended, or a situation where they're offended, and the offender, can they sit at the same table and receive and get the same amount of love? And it brings me back to a conversation I had with a buddy who's lives in Florida now, and there was a shooting in the northeast in the New England area. The shooter. Unfortunately, there were some fatalities. It was, of course, there was a longing to help those the victims and their families. Rightly so. Oh, this always happens. I look at the offender. I says, "Who is anybody here for them?" Not that I don't, you know, looking at the offended, but I always wonder about that, And then if I had an opportunity to speak the offender, I would ask, "Have you been offended? What happened to you?" And to see the connection of it all, then we get to understand the adage of hurt people, not consciously, energetically, and many times it's acting out. And so, when a good friend of mine, um, she would, many times say, "God, let me see me as you see me." And it struck me because I wanted to kind of flip it just a little bit to put the emphasis on me. The idea of, "God, let me see me as you see me." Because I know a lot from my understanding. And so in my coaching session, Kim said, um, "I think your prayer was answered. You're the offender and the offended. Can there be equal love to both?" I'm doing this work because I have done it for a long time. And it's done good work, and these are the parts that I'm allowing to get past all these facades that I push on, and just let the love Joseph come out. Because at the end of the day, that was my fucking biggest fear, being me. And as stupid as that sounds, and woo-woo as that sounds, if you ain't in the arena and you ain't looking at yourself, then shut up. No, I did all three. Look at that. How long am I in here? 10 minutes. Hey, not bad, Joe. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And the journey continues. Much love.